Utah State takes on Oklahoma, 3 p.m. Eastern tip-off. OU's -5.5, totals 134. And if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at brockpage.com. We went 5-1 in our 6 premium sports picks on brockpage.com yesterday. We're also 8-3 in our last 11 NBA tier package picks on that very website. And the good news is we have another NBA tier package pick going off here today. We currently have over 975 members who are signed up and active on that site. And once again, if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at brockpage.com. The 4-0 Sooners are scoring 85 points a game, and they're also drilling 40% of their three-pointers. They're also in the top 5 in the country in offensive field goal percentage. Tanner Groves is scoring 18 points a game, 7 boards, couple assists for the senior. Groves is also drilling over 47% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, Umoja Gibson is scoring just about a dozen a night himself. Now defensively, the Sooners are holding their opponents to just 25% shooting from beyond the arc. Oklahoma is allowing just 25 first-half points a game. They're taking on a Utah State program who's allowing 71 points a night. The Aggies are, they've lost their last 5 straight against a Big 12 opponent. And when it comes to the total in this one, Utah State's last 3 outings all got over the number. Meanwhile, Oklahoma went 3-0 to the over in their last 3 themselves. I'm going to lean toward OU -5.5 over 134. Next contest, Clemson, West Virginia, 5 o'clock East. West Virginia is -3, totals 132.5. But as good as West Virginia has looked in a couple of games here this year, they are coming fresh off a double-digit loss to Marquette, where they gave up 82 points. The Mountaineers have also failed to cover the point spread in 3 out of their last 4 contests this season. The Mountaineers are making only 33% of their three-pointers, and they're really struggling to rebound the basketball offensively. They're taking on a 4-1 Clemson team who's drilling over 46% of their three-pointers this season. They're in the top 5 in the country in offensive three-point percentage. P.J. Hall's 8 of 16 from 3 land, 15 points a game and 6 rebounds for the sophomore. Meanwhile, Hunter Tyson is scoring over 12.5 points a game himself, along with 5 rebounds. Tyson's also drilling over 47% of his three-pointers himself. Clemson's making over 51% of their field goals as a team. Meanwhile, defensively, the Tigers are limiting their opponents to just 29% shooting from downtown. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Clemson's last 4 did get over the number. Meanwhile, West Virginia saw their last 2 straight get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward Clemson +3 over 132.5. Next ball game, not on our big screen, but it is going to be Colorado State versus Creighton. 5:45 Eastern start time. Colorado State's -3.5, totals 146. The 4-0 Rams are in the top 10 in the country in offensive field goal percentage. They're currently making 54% of their field goals, and they're also drilling 40% of their 3 balls. David Roddy scoring 20.5 points a night, 9 rebounds, 2 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, John Tanji is scoring 15 points a game. He's drilling 50% of his three-pointers. Colorado State's making over 82% of their free throws as a team. Meanwhile, defensively, they're limiting their opponents to just 30% shooting from beyond the arc. They're taking on a Creighton squad who's really struggled to hit the 3-ball themselves. They're connecting on just 28% of their three-pointers, and equally as bad, the Blue Jays are shooting a dismal 57% from the stripe. Creighton failed to cover the point spread in 2 out of their last 4 ball games. Those failures came against the likes of Kennesaw State and Arkansas Pine Bluff. When it comes to the total in this one, Creighton did see that contest with Arkansas Pine Bluff get over the number. Meanwhile, 2 out of Colorado State's last 3 got over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward Colorado State minus 3.5 over 146. Next ball game, St. Bonaventure versus Marquette, 7:30 Eastern tip-off. St. Bonaventure's minus 3.5, totals 137. The Bonnies failed to cover in 2 out of their last 3 ball games. One of those failures was against Canisius. The Bonnies are averaging only 69 points a game, and they're really doing a lackluster job of rebounding the basketball offensively. Now, equally as bad, the Bonnies are scoring only 29 first-half points a game. They're taking on a 5-0 Marquette squad who's coming off victories against West Virginia, Ole Miss, and Illinois. Those are 3 consecutive straight wins over those big teams. The Golden Eagles also successfully covered the point spread in all 3 of those victories. Marquette's really turning it on offensively in the second half. They're scoring 45 second-half points per contest. Daryl Morsell is scoring over 20 points a game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists for the guard. Morsell's also dropping over 52% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, Justin Lewis is scoring almost 18 points a game himself, along with 8 rebounds. When it comes to the total in this one, Marquette's contest with Illinois fell about 13 points below the posted number. Meanwhile, the Bonnies are 3-1 at the under for the entire season themselves. I'm going to lean toward Marquette plus 3.5 under 147. Marquette plus 3.5 under 137. Next and final matchup, Arizona-Michigan, 9:30 p.m. East. Michigan's minus 3.5, totals 144. But as talented as Michigan is, they failed to cover the point spread in 2 out of their last 4 ball games. Matter of fact, one of those failures was an outright loss to Seton Hall, where they were held to just 65 points. Now, the Wolverines aren't shooting the 3-ball incredibly well. They're making only 32% of their three-pointers. They're taking on an Arizona club who's certainly built for a track meet, top 10 in the country in scoring, top 5 in offensive rebounding. Azuolas Tubelis is scoring 16 points a game along with 6 rebounds, a couple assists. Meanwhile, Benny Mathurin is scoring over 15 points a game himself, along with 6 boards. The Wildcats are averaging 91 points a game. Meanwhile, defensively, they're leading the nation in defensive field goal percentage. They're holding their opponents to just 29% shooting from the field. Now, total-wise, Arizona's last 3 straight all got over the number. Meanwhile, Michigan saw their opener with Buffalo get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward Arizona plus 3.5 over 144. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where we are 8-3 in our last 11 NBA tier package picks. I like Oklahoma minus 5.5 over 134. Clemson plus 3 over 132 and a hook. Colorado State minus 3.5 over 146. Marquette plus 3.5 under 137. Arizona plus 3.5 over 144. As far as all the other games go across the country, I like Holy Cross plus 11 under 152.5. Wisconsin Green Bay plus 13.5 under 138. I'm also leaning toward Xavier minus 16.5 over 143. Give me Northern Illinois plus 8.5 under 128. I like Penn, the Quakers, plus 1.5 under 131. Give me Boise State plus 1.5 over 133. I'm also leaning toward this next team, and they are SIU Edwardsville minus 1.5 over 142. Give me Villanova plus 2.5 over 141. High Point plus 10.5 over 145. North Dakota minus 3.5 over 147. Give me Air Force minus 9.5 under 126. I also like Arkansas Little Rock plus 4 over 139. Give me Ball State plus 7.5 over 145. The UAB Blazers minus 24.5 over 135. Southern Miss minus 4 over 133. Mississippi State minus 14 under 133. Furman minus 9.5 under 135. I'm also leaning toward Oregon State, minus 5.5 over 129. Give me South Dakota, minus 6 over 138. I also like North Carolina, the Tar Heels, plus 3 over 153. Niagara, minus 1 under 137.5. Denver, minus 5 over 141 and a hook. Marshall, minus 12.5 over 142. Virginia Tech, minus 18.5 under 122. Nebraska, minus 15.5 over 145. UTSA, minus 8 over 141 and a hook. Give me Longwood, minus 9.5 over 142. Rhode Island, minus 3 under 129.5. Wofford, minus 7 over 130 and a hook. UNC Greensboro, minus 2 over 129.5. I'm also leaning toward William and Mary, plus 2 over 144.5. Give me Florida State, minus 6.5 under 139. Davidson, minus 5 under 137.5. Iowa State, minus 16 over 137 and a hook. Give me NC State, minus 15 over 140.5. Indiana, minus 12 over 142. Utah, minus 5.5 under 135. Florida A&M, plus 16.5 over 137. Southern Illinois, minus 2.5 under 126. Missouri Tigers, plus 7 over 140. Indiana State, plus 9 over 139. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 8-3 in our last 11 NBA tier package picks on BrockPage.com. I'm going to lean toward Northern Colorado, plus 1.5 over 147. And with that, guys, now it's time for our shout out of the day. And that's going to go to my man, the Sauce Sensei Master Drip Lord, who said the other day, Brock dropping nothing but bangers. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on BrockPage.com. If you guys do end up getting a membership here today on that website, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on BrockPage.com, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of November. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. But most importantly, guys, that's going to do it for me. I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Sunday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at BrockPage.com.